Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Craig Chalquist. This is the first of a few videos on working with fictional characters that show up in your dreams. So in this first video, I'm going to say a little bit about what I mean by fictional and what it has to do with us and dreaming and all that. Couple of preliminaries. So if you like these videos, then go to chalquist.com, which is my website. There's a monthly newsletter you can sign up for if you want to know what I'm up to and you like my work. And when I'm done teaching graduate courses, I package them up and make them available for people. So there's a bunch of those there too, if you're interested in these topics. So this morning, I haven't presented for a while at this big dream conference that is held every year. And so I thought, well, why not? So it's in the Netherlands, and I thought, well, I've never been there. It'd be cool to have a trip out there. And then I looked at the cost of registration, which doesn't cover travel or anything like that. And I said, no, no online option, and no way that I could see that any of you will even see what my topic is, or what I present, or what anyone else at the conference presents. And I'm increasingly critical of this whole siloed away thing that we do with psychology. So I decided on an alternative, which is to do a few videos on my topic for free. So here's the first one. Let me say a little bit about that word fiction, which psychologically considered is a lot more complicated than we might think. So we have a habit in this culture of saying fiction versus reality, right? And, it's a distinction that has some weight. I mean, nobody thinks that Captain Kirk is actually going to walk in through your front door. But he will in your dreams. He and many other fictional characters have shown up in mine from time to time. Him not for a while, since I'm sort of done with the whole hero thing. But what Carl Jung and the whole Islamic tradition of gnosis, of direct intuitive knowledge through the imagination, has told us, in addition to European romantic philosophy and poetry and alchemy and a number of other things, is that we don't necessarily make these characters up. They have their own reality, but it's a different kind. It's not something that you can touch or measure, but it's real nevertheless. And as many of us know who've worked with these fictional characters over the years, whether they're actual characters from books that we read or films that we watch, or maybe they're characters out of mythology or religion, but wherever they come from, they have real things to tell us that we can apply in daily life. I was, many years ago, as one example of this, I was about to take an internship as a psychotherapist intern, and it looked like a really great internship, and I had fictional characters show up in my dreams and say, this is a big mistake, right? You don't want to do this. I did it anyway. They're just fictional, right? It was a disaster. I was lucky to get out of the contract, and the whole counseling center folded 6 months after I left. Which I suspect has something to do with the fact that I kept dreaming about escaping from burning skyscrapers at the last minute before they collapsed. So the persons in dreams, whether we recognize them upon awakening as fictional or not, these imaginal characters, in depth psychology, that's how we refer to them, as opposed to imaginary in the sense of just making them up. Imaginal characters, imaginal settings and realms and places, they all have their own kind, their special kind of reality. It's not quite physical. It's not purely mental or intellectual. It just is. And I won't go into centuries of mysticism about this. Mysticism, Gnosticism, psychological work, you name it. But one of the greatest things that Carl Jung gave us is the ability to talk to these characters directly and realize that they have important things to tell us. So when I write fiction, and that's part of what I'm going to talk about in these videos, I do it from the standpoint that these characters are somewhat autonomous. They're somewhat aside from me. They aren't just characters that I make up. They make themselves up. And you know, there's many writers who've talked about this. I'm thinking of Rex Stout, who wrote the Nero Wolfe stories, and Ursula K. Le Guin and Tolkien and others who have said that the characters advise them and show up sometimes unexpectedly and surprise them. So whatever they are, whether they're parts of us or parts of something else, or both, they're vital beings that with important messages to give us. So what I'm going to walk you through in these videos, I'll keep them all short, but are examples of how I work with these fictional characters in my dreams, but also as I write my fiction. I recently published Soul Mapper, independently published Soul Mapper, which is my first novel. It takes place in the near future, so technically it's science fiction. And I'm going to give you examples of how the characters in the novel advise me on where to go in that story. So we'll see that coming up shortly. Thanks.